All right, cool. We are live here, and I'm joined by my guest. We have all MIAA players: linebacker Reese Roller, quarterback Jett Huff, and center Gabe Grazier. Our fourth guest should join us here shortly. Gentlemen, first, thank you for taking time this evening to come on and talk to me here. I'll just open up the floor for you all. Whoever wants to go first. How is spring ball going for you all?
Offense guys, you guys want to start it off?
Yeah, I'll start. Um, it's been I think it's been very experimental so far. I think we're trying some new stuff. Obviously, when you lose guys, not only the portal but to graduation stuff too. Spring is such a good time to see what you have and see what works and what doesn't. So we've definitely been trying stuff, putting guys in new spots, um, just kind of doing the things that you wouldn't do in the season. As far as like we know it's working, so we're going to stick to it. No, spring is such a good time to try all that stuff you didn't try in the season. So I think that's been a big emphasis this spring, especially in the skill position area. But we have some guys that have stepped up for sure, that maybe didn't make as big of an impact last year that are definitely going to make an impact this year.
Yeah, I mean, I can give you from like an offensive line perspective. It's a whole lot of new guys, not like new guys as far as transfers in, but a lot of young guys that are just kind of getting their shot now. And I can say it's definitely like a learning curve for those guys, but I'm actually really proud of how they've stepped up to the plate, and how they've responded to now getting in a role of like it's your time to play now. And I think especially with like the new starting offensive line, at least as of now, I'm proud of how they've accepted the challenge, and players have grown up a lot. I feel like since last year, especially in such a demanding position. I mean, it's not easy to start first year as like at offensive line just because there's so much stuff going on. But I think the level of maturity that a lot of the young guys have started to show is it's going to lead to a lot of success in the future as long as they keep trending in the right direction.
Yeah, and defense-wise, we've actually since the season we kind of not dummied down, but made our defense simpler. But we've changed up, different ways how we run certain coverages. So that's been like the biggest learning curve for us has just been, switching from the mindset we had in the fall to now how we're running our new defense now, and especially now with our like front seven, we lost quite a bit of guys to transfer portal and graduation, so it's kind of just figuring out, who's best at what and what certain people's strengths and weaknesses are. So it's been a blast, and it's fun to see how much guys we have, rotating in with the ones, and you'll have first string rotating in with some third string guys, and just kind of seeing how well they mesh together. So it's been fun.
And I'm glad Gabe mentioned the offensive line because I know that was one of the concerns that I know I had and was brought to me was like, okay, we lost a lot of experience on that offensive line. Are we kind of concerned about how that's looking in terms of, like you said, guys that have been here but now are pushed into new roles? What have you seen as an elder statesman on the offensive line there? What have you seen from those group of guys that has given you the belief and the confidence so far that you all will be a good offensive line come this season?
Yeah, the problem hasn't really been learning this stuff because, like I said, a lot of these guys that are playing now, they've been in the program since freshman year, or they've transferred in maybe 2 years ago. So they've been in the program, been established, and so most of them they know the playbook in and out. They know how we run things. They know the calls. They know what's going on. They just haven't had much on-field experience, past like some little bit of rotation here and there. So the learning curve isn't so much the issue. It's more or less just getting them experience out, like us working together, like just me with the guards, like making combo calls with new guards I've never made combos with, or tackles with tight ends and stuff like that. Just learn to play with each other, more or less learning how to play with each other than learning UCO football. And I think the springs, that's the time to do that. It's the time just to gain experience playing with each other. And the confidence that they're showing is is leading me to believe that it's going to be a successful year. There hasn't been much drop off that I've seen. In all honesty, I'm really proud of the guys right now.
And for Jett, now I know last year there was a lot of new faces in that receiving room for you. This year there's a lot of continuity there. There's a lot of guys that played snaps last year that are back. What kind of is that relationship, that chemistry like now, having a year of experience with a lot of guys in that room?
Yeah, for sure. And you said it, like everybody that is taking snaps at the receiver position this spring, it was here in the fall and here in the summer last year. So the playbook is not what needs to be learned. It's everybody already knows the plays. The thing I've been pushing the guys to do is to now incorporate like being a football player. Don't look at what you see in the playbook and go out and do that exact thing every single time against every coverage and every look. That's how you get covered. And it's really important, I think, for me, for sure, is I really harp on them to adjust your routes based on coverage, based off looks, based on who's covering you. Like all that stuff matters. And if you just go out and run the exact thing that's in the playbook, some of the time, like we're not going to be successful. So the chemistry's there. I know there were some guys that we didn't have a whole lot of catches last year, but I've had a lot of reps with them. So I do think that will carry over, but I've definitely just been emphasizing like just be a football player out there. Like, you know, the game, you watch film, you know, you watch football on TV. Like you can go out there and kind of put like a twist on the routes if you need to in order to succeed and not just going out there and being a robot.
And to reason, I know you mentioned, you know, obviously we know the losses in the front seven there, but what kind of have you seen from that group that's there now? I felt like we still had a good amount of talent returning, both experienced and young, in both the D line and the linebackers. What kind of have you seen from that front seven so far that sticks out to you?
Yeah, I think what sticks out to me is just how well some of the new guys and younger guys are playing right now, and I think that you can see in, like, when you come to the spring game, you'll see just how much fun we have out there. That's something I really like about it, especially some of these younger guys that are stepping up now. It's fun to see, and the biggest challenge probably right now is just some of these younger guys. Like last year, it was easy. You know, it was me, Jack, and Connor, and like we could basically read each other's minds on like, okay, you're gonna do this right here, so I need to help. You know, that kind of vibe. But now it's like, okay, I'm playing with two different guys to the side of me, you know, and they have different tendencies than other backers, and same with the D line as well. It's very cool to see. Like you have leaders like Stilly in the D line room that have been there a long time. They know what they're doing, and then you have other guys like Spalding and Stites that are just like big old meatheads and are just gonna go wreck into some crap for you. So it's been a fun time, and I'm really enjoying it.
And for all three of you now, because you know there's youth in a lot of positions, but now you all are elder statesmen, kind of leaders now. From that perspective, how has that gone for you all this spring compared to maybe springs past?
Yeah, there is a lot of youth, and I think during like the months of January, February, when we're meeting, throwing, that's the time to get your questions out of the way. That's the time to like let people know like what the standard is, or like what you want them to do on certain plays and whatnot. But during the spring, it's time to grow up. You know, like we have to go. You have to go in practice. You have to be able to function at a high level and do what's asked of you. And I think in years past, maybe it's been a little bit of an older group, or maybe more experience or whatnot. Like people have played more snaps in games, so maybe you didn't have that period of adjustment. But I know, like for our group, we do have guys that have played, but we do have a lot of younger guys that that needed that January, February to kind of feel it out a little bit, know the expectation, but then transfer it over to spring ball. And like, it's a big jump for a young guy. You know, it's easy to look on paper and go and run routes on air and do that stuff. But when the bullets are flying, when you go out and you get like real team reps, it's a completely different game. So I think, you know, having guys needing to make that jump, and they are making the jump, no doubt. I think that's just been a little bit different compared to years past.
Yeah, I can say from a leadership perspective in the O-line room, I feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself, especially playing around a bunch of new guys and stuff that are getting their shot now. I put a lot of pressure on myself that like anytime they mess up, I mess up too. Because as a center, I mean, I'm calling the defense. It's mainly calling a lot of combos and stuff like that as far as inside. So a lot of that's self-made pressure that I put on myself playing next to the new guys' experience. But as the farther along we go in the spring, the more like you can learn to trust the guy you're playing next to. Like in years past, playing next to Trail and stuff like that. I mean, we've played together. We've played so many snaps together. We don't have to we just look at each other and know exactly what each other's going to do. Kind of Jett was saying with the receivers. And right now it's just learning that. It's that part of the game learning curve that the spring is so good at. It's just getting reps after reps with the guys next to you, just to develop that trust that is really needed to be a successful football team and to play well come Saturdays.
Yeah, and then my side of it, leadership-wise, especially getting moved to Mike this spring and next fall, it's definitely different now that I'm, the quarterback of the defense. I'm getting the calls from the sideline, and I gotta echo it to everyone. I gotta set the front. I gotta make sure we have the right audible in check. So it's just a lot more. I've been focusing on being a lot more vocal and making sure that all the guys know what to do and making sure that I know what to do as well. But kind of like what Jett was saying, those early months in the winter workouts, we're grinding, asking questions, but now it's time to show what you can put on tape. And some of these young guys, it's definitely a little different because, in the fall they come from being redshirt scout teamers, and then you go to spring and it's like the coaches are expecting you now to start competing for a job. So it's now that we're, in the later part of spring ball, I feel like the practices have become more competitive and they've become more fun because some of these guys are starting to loosen up a little bit and realize that they're just back to playing football. So that's been fun to see, and I'm really enjoying it.
And now, because you all mentioned, before with all the experience, not really having to vocalize a lot of stuff, some things just being understood, but now having to vocalize the stuff, maybe getting more communication than what had been. Has that been kind of refreshing for you all in a way? Because now here you are kind of able to, I want to say, like, leave your mark. But I'm sure there were guys that you had learned from previously. Like, I know, Gabe, you had Lane, and Reese, you had guys like Zion and those type of guys. Is it kind of like that for you all now, where you kind of maybe seeing where they were at that time when you all were underclassmen? And if so, are you all kind of taking things that you learned from them and instilling it into the guys that are under you now?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It kind of lets you in the moment when those older guys, when you're the young cat and the older guys ahead of you, sometimes you think they're kind of just an a-hole, or just. I'm not saying Lane was. He's a super nice guy. I'm just like this. They're always on you a little bit, just because they can see the potential that you can't see in yourself yet. And now that I'm in that role of, I guess in that role now, it's like I totally understand everything. Like everything that they've said, it honestly came true, and it's pretty much the same experience for everybody. So yeah, I do think a lot of that I can translate from being a young guy and understanding the feeling of being the young guy there. And so I'm just trying to be that little bit of a support system that just kind of has been there, done that for those guys that are now trying to gain the experience that I got.
Yeah, definitely. It is refreshing. It's nice, especially when you know they care, they want to learn. That's the main thing. If they're eager to learn, then you know they want to be successful. Um, at the quarterback position, it's if any of the young guys ask me about certain things on the field, if it's schematic, that's one thing, but quarterback's very unique. Like everybody's different as a quarterback. Everybody, you have different traits and whatnot. So I would just love to tell them, like, dude, just think about when you were a kid and you were playing football. Like, what would you do? Like, it's instinctive. You have to, like, don't just come to college and I know your head's spinning and stuff, but you just gotta try to have a little bit of fun and like whatever works for you is going to work for you. I can't quite give you, the answers to the test as far as playing quarterback. But we have lots of conversations about what works, what doesn't work. So it is really nice talking to young guys because I know I was a young guy once, and you come in and your head's spinning, and you feel like you're drowning, and there's no way you're ever going to make it. And then, one day you wake up and everything makes sense. So definitely know what it feels like to be one of those young guys, but more encouraging them to try new things within reason and like find out what works for you, because what works for me isn't gonna work for the other three in my room.
Yeah, and for me, it's definitely been cool to help some of these younger guys. It feels weird to say that I'm like an older guy in the room now, but it's definitely cool just to give them like little tips and tricks that I've learned throughout the last 3 years. Me and Harwell were talking about it, like maybe the last 4 or 5 years, maybe. I think we've had an all-conference linebacker, so a bunch of all those little tips and tricks just being passed down. For instance, like Noah West, when I first got here, he helped me a lot. And then Jack, obviously, he had an All-American year. And then just now helping some of these younger guys that haven't had a bunch of live reps. And a lot of people don't realize, but the difference between, like, going out with the ones and then going out with the threes, there's a big difference. So you kind of have to remind them, like, you got to bring your stuff when you're out there, So that's just the big part is just trying to put them in the right positions that they can succeed. And I mean, at linebacker, you got to think about a lot of stuff, and a bunch of the times their heads are spinning. But like Jett was saying, I just tell them to have fun and like just be instinctual and just trust yourself, and it'll all work out. So.
And now a kind of similar question building off that. Now I know both Jett and Gabe, I know you both kind of were banged up some last season, kind of forced you off the field. That time where you were more of a, I don't know, like more of a mentor in the ear of your injury replacements at that point in time, having to take that step back. Were you able to, did it provide a new perspective for you on things? Were you able to maybe see things differently from that perspective that you hadn't seen while you were on the field?
Yeah, for me, it was just another level of maturity that I had to accept and grow into. But I just looked at it more or less as an opportunity, just for the guy under me, just to, like I said, gain more experience, because now that guy that replaced me is playing next to me. So all that did was just help the future of the team. And I just had to be mature enough to understand my role in the moment and take a step back and know when to lead and know when my time was.
Yeah, it definitely makes you a whole lot more grateful to be out there, because it definitely hurts when you're not. But Creasy's one of my best friends, and we joke a lot, but those couple weeks we were more like I was more like coaching him, because making your first couple college starts not easy, a lot of pressure. So just trying to keep him calm, keep him light, keep telling him like, hey, bro, like it's just a game. You've been playing it your whole life. One mistake isn't going to kill you. it's, you know, just go out and play like you would if you were on scout team. Like, you go out there all tense and stuff, like it's never going to work. And just trying to keep them in a good space, like throughout those couple weeks for sure. But yeah, definitely it's a different role. It makes you view like actually playing a lot different. I think when you know you should be out there, but you're missing time because you're hurt, makes you definitely thankful to be out there. But I'm glad I got those couple weeks with them, and it was fun to go out and watch them compete.
And I posed a question for all three of you. Now, are there any names that are sticking out to you so far throughout camp that maybe fans should keep an eye out come the 18th?
Let's see. I know some defensive side of the ball. Abner's moved to cornerback now, so that's definitely something to look out for. And then personally, I think Austin Hubert has been having a great spring. He had a great winter as well. He jumped his power clean like 40 pounds over the winter workouts, so he's been having a really good spring. There's been just a bunch of guys flying around and having fun. The Sam position, you're going to see a bunch of new guys there. You got Joey and Coric, and then D-line. We have a new edge, Nas. He can go, and he's fun to watch. He's got a little twitch to him, so it's going to be exciting.
Yeah. For offensive skill, I mean, there's not a day I go out there and practice and it doesn't look like Dev Matthews isn't the best player on the field at all times. He is a specimen of a man. I mean, he's 6'2", all of 220, faster than everybody out there. Like, he's a stud, and he does, you know, he makes it look easy every day. Also, big credit to the O-line we've been phenomenal. Outside zone encounter as always. But yeah, Dev Matthews, that's not like a new name though. Zaid Martinez played a little bit last year. He's had a great spring. Jackson Lamanek, same thing. And then Vaughn played a lot last year. He's had a solid spring. And then CJ Williams, you know, those have been 4 dudes definitely that have been making a lot of plays throughout the last couple weeks.
Yeah, really, other than me on the O-line, I'd say Ross Johnson probably has the next amount of game time reps and stuff like that. So I just really hope that he can really absorb that and carry that into the next year. He doesn't have that much experience, but it's a lot more than we have in other positions on the offensive line. So I'm just really hope that he can just learn and try to turn that into a leadership role. And the guys like David Smithwick and Cam Brannicky and those guys at guard right now. Cam was the backup center last year. He's been put into a role of, hey, we need to play guard this year. And I'm very, very proud of him. I think he's honest. I think he's actually the highest graded out O-lineman right now in the room as far as that goes. He's doing a great job. And people that know Smitty know that he's the nicest guy on the team, but he is also the hardest on himself. So just really allowing him just to get comfortable in the position and realize that, hey, making mistakes is all right, and that you're going to learn from it and grow from it. And Eric Moeller, he's another senior and just hadn't had his chance to step on the field yet. He's changed his body tremendous, like just completely new person from when he first got here. And I'm really excited to see what he does at right tackle, fighting for a spot right now. And yeah, man, just like I said, it's very exciting knowing that you're starting fresh a little bit from the offensive line because you just don't know what to expect, which you can look at it from a scared point of view of, yeah, you don't know what to expect, but also it's just an opportunity for these guys to grow and to grow into the players that everyone else knows they can be, or they wouldn't be here.
And now for you three, I mean, this is your last spring for all intents and purposes. Is it hitting you differently? Are you all approaching it differently? Is it kind of this business as usual? Like, what is going through this final spring kind of been like for you all?
Oh, it's hitting. Yeah, it's hitting. I actually talked to Reese about this like in February, and we take a little bit different approaches to it. Like on Reese, like you can say in a minute, but like Reese moved positions. He's kind of moving to Mike, and like Reese has been so detailed this spring, like and just absolutely dialed in every single day. And I think about my goals like for my last year, and I think about the last season, and I didn't have fun. Like I was just too hard on myself. Obviously drop a couple games, like it's easy to get discouraged. And I left the season thinking if this was my senior year, I would hate myself for the way I went about it. Just was down on myself, so I wanted to have a lot more fun this spring. Obviously I take it serious, but like just be easier on myself. Like, no, just go out, play football. Because you don't want to look back in December when you're done forever and you spent all year being way too hard on yourself. I just want to kind of enjoy my senior year.
Yeah, and that, I mean, like you were talking about, Jett, we had that talk, and it kind of hit me when we talked about that, and it was just like, I mean, you think in like 8 months from now or whatever, I mean, we're just going to be normal people, we're done with football forever, and it's weird to think about. And yeah, like you said, like being moved to Mike, like I've really tried to like hone in on that and learn the new position as well. And then part of it is just like go out and have fun. I mean, at the end of the day, in 5-10 years, you're not going to remember the freaking missed tackle you had or the dropped interception. You're going to remember like the bus rides back after a win, or you're going to remember like celebrating after a huge win on the road. So it's just like I kind of want to take in more of the little things and not focus as much on being like so critical of myself and just really like soak it all in. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of taking a different approach right now. Honestly, I kind of forget that it's my senior year, that I'm not going to do any of this again. I'm kind of just taking it one day at a time. I show up to the facility, just thinking about what I messed up on the last practice, trying to fix it the next one. Just keep going business as usual. Now I'm sure it'll hit me during the season of, wow, like this probably never going to happen again. But as of now, I'm just kind of just playing football and want to have fun with it. And Reese said it perfectly. You don't remember the stats, or you don't remember you remember the small stuff. You remember their buddies next to you, and you remember the fun parts about football. And so just freeing my mind up, freeing my body up, just to have a good time and obviously be successful doing it. But I think first part of having success is just having fun in what you're doing, enjoying it.
Now, I did want to ask Gabe, because now I could be wrong on this. Feel free to tell me if I am. I believe you and Joey are the last two remaining players from you all's signing class. Given that,
it's me, Joey, Stilly, Dalton Hurd, and Ben Harmon.
Is Carney in y'all's class?
And Carney.
Oh yeah, there's Carney.
Yeah, we got Carney,
okay.
Ben, Zach Stillwell, Dalton Hurd, Joey, and I'm pretty sure that's it.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah, there's no receivers, no quarterback. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, given that, like what? Because I mean, you all were a part of Durrell's first class. So, you all were kind of sold vision of what he hoped to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now looking back at it towards the end, how have you seen the program grow from when you first got here to where it is now?
Obviously we grew to success. Winning conference championship, and establishing UCO as a serious contender in the MIAA. I think since Coach Jules got here, I've also seen a lot of maturity throughout the years. UCO hasn't had its times of heartache and hardship as far as coaching staff and player wise, and there's been a lot of ups and downs through the last 5 years. But the resiliency that I've seen through a lot of guys and a lot of the coaches and leaders on the team is something that you can't be quiet about. I'm really proud of being a part of the UCO's organization. I'm proud to say that I've been here for the last 5 years, and yeah, I can't speak enough to that.
And for each of you, has it flown by? I feel like every time we get to like a new season, I look at the names, I'm like, they're already a senior. Like they just signed. What happened? Does it feel like that for you all where it's just gone by in a flash? Or can you tell like, okay, yeah, I've been here for 4 and 5 years. I can tell.
No, it's gone by insanely fast, and it's a little different for me because I didn't redshirt at all or anything like that. So I'm just like 4 years in and out. Everyone always talks about like high school flying by, and then you get to college, and it's like 3 times the speed of that. It feels like, I mean, literally just yesterday, I remember showing up for summer workouts, and like I just couldn't even go to sleep because I was just so nervous about it all. And then now it's just like, I've got 7 more practices of spring ball, and then one more, like 6 more months of football, and then it's just over. It's flown by so fast. I don't even know how.
Yeah, it absolutely flies by. Especially my time at UCO. I feel like I'm like back like when I first got here. I had no hair and like red cleats, and I just I I couldn't complete anything down the field. Like, and now it's like I'm about to be done playing football in 8 months or whatever it is. So, no, it absolutely flies by. The spring does not fly by. I will say that spring does
No.
not fly by. But once you finish like a full year, you're like, yeah, they went by pretty fast, and then they just start piling up. So,
Yeah, I mean, they said it exactly how it needs to be said.
Now, you all have the unique opportunity for a second straight year to have a actual spring game against another opponent besides yourselves. Talk about, because it happened last year. Talk about how big was that to have an actual like game like atmosphere, kind of go through a full game day, kind of get as much of a real game experience as possible for a spring game. Kind of talk about how big was that for you all last year, and especially this year with all of the youth. How big is having that opportunity for you all again?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, defensive side of the ball, you really see like, the guys that haven't necessarily proved themselves yet in a game scenario when it's live tackling and all that. You really see who can tackle, who can who can play the ball, who can fly to the ball, all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot that goes into it, and it's a good chance for these younger guys to showcase to the coaches and put on film that, if you were to throw me into a game tomorrow, this is how I'd perform. And that's the great thing about the spring game is it's like a real game format. I mean, we're going live and tackling. So, and like you can show off yourself, but also the other side of that is it's going to be a little bit new to these guys. You know, some of these guys haven't had a real game scenario like this since they were in high school. So just some of the new guys, it's going to be different, and it's going to be fun for them to finally, get back to playing with their brothers and just flying around.
yeah. Another thing I think the spring game does for us is it kind of gives you something to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
Spring ball, every spring ball I've ever gone through, it's like it gets a little redundant, and that's for everybody. Because you feel like, we're practicing, it's really hot, practices are long, but lots of times, like, what are we like? There's no end goal here. But I think having the spring game gives you something to look forward to prepare for, and not just practice against each other for 15 days. And it is a real game. They make it game format. We go through our regular like pregame routine, like it's a real game. And after the spring game, you won't play another game until August. So you definitely want to go put your best foot forward out there. You don't want to leave the spring and go, all of May, June, and July, um, with putting out a bad performance. You want to kind of leave the semester on a high note. And I know for me, and I'm sure it's the same thing with the other two. we're not going to play the whole game. We're not going to play a half, probably. We're probably going to play about a quarter or so, because there's a lot of guys that get in, get out. And in a real game, you get off to a bad start, not a big deal. You can kind of recover and be just fine. In the spring game, knowing you just get a quarter, it's like I have to go out. I have to be completely dialed in at the beginning of the game, because I know I'm going to look up and I'm going to be out. So it's definitely important to prepare like it is a real game. So that way, you don't go in, get your 15, 20 plays and it feel like you wasted them.
Yeah, last year was my first time playing an actual spring game against another opponent, and I was really surprised at just how fun it was. In all honesty, spring games I feel like kind of have a negative connotation around them as like just an opportunity to first opportunity to get hurt, or someone like just all the negative stuff that comes along with critique and stuff like that. But I was just really surprised just how fun I had. I didn't play a ton, but that's not really the point. It's the point for a lot of people just to get experience and gain reps against opponent other than the guy across the day practice. But no, last year the guys from SNU, had a great time. You chop it up with them the whole game and stuff like that, and you build relationships, and it's just it really is a fun time. It's very competitive at the same time, but competition's fun.
And now, yeah, knowing, I think last year, I think the starters did play about a quarter. So knowing that a lot of those young guys are going to get about 3/4 worth of work from a leadership perspective, on the sideline when they come off the field, maybe they had a rough series or they messed up here, things of that nature. How can you go about supporting them in this? Because like Reese said, this might be the first time since they were in high school where they're getting some actual game action. From a leadership standpoint, how do you kind of think of going about approaching those situations that might arise during the spring game?
Yeah, you really just gotta like cheer them up and like next play mentality. Yeah, you screwed up on the last play, but how are you going to go about the next play? It's really just encouraging them, and a bunch of these guys, with, I guess there's not really pressure, but with trying to put your best film on tape, there's going to be a bunch of self-critique about it, and you just got to remind them, like, dude, just go out and play, man. Like, don't worry about you misfit in a run play and they got a first down. Well, who cares, man? Like, next play, go try and get a TFL or something. And the good thing about it is everyone that's out there has, like, all three of us, we've all made a stupid play before, or we've all made a negative play that has hurt the team somehow. Well, the main thing is you got your next play, you've got your teammates right by you that are there to help you. So it's really just reinforcing that, you got to just have that confidence and swagger about you to just go back out there and give it your all. So,
yeah, just like Reese said, no doubt. It's easy for the young guys to kind of get hung up on a mistake or two and let that hinder, the rest of their game. Mostly because, they haven't played since high school in a real game. And so it's a lot of reassuring them, letting them know, like, bro, you are going to make mistakes. You're probably going to make a lot of mistakes. Like that's football, but just like Reese said, like next play, put your best foot forward each play, because if you're still thinking about, what you did wrong on that last play, it's going to affect the rest of your drive. So yeah, a lot of reassuring them, cheering them on. But one thing I do love about spring games is that, especially with the young guys, there's always those 3 or 4 guys that, maybe run with the 2s or the 3s right now, making plays all spring. And it's like when the bullets start flying in the spring game, they just rise to the top and they're constantly making plays. It's like 3 or 4 guys every year.
mm-hmm.
And whenever we go to the season, it'll be those same 3 or 4 guys that contribute on Saturdays, like the younger guys. And I love that because, the spring game gives them a chance to show, who are the gamers out here, who's good in practice, but who really rises to the occasion in the game. So I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, this gives us an opportunity to grow our leadership skills personally. Leadership skills that we can take into everyday life and future professions and stuff like that. Just learning how someone wants to be like talked to and responded to, maybe after a mess up or maybe after some confusion during a play. Just another time for us to just hone in on those skills and draw closer to the guys.
All right, we got a couple of questions from the comment section. First is from Josh Wall. Shout out to my man Josh there. He asked, any good pranks getting pulled during spring ball?
Well, we actually had one yesterday in the O-line room. Somehow we found a video of Coach Doyle playing football back in 1990, whatever something. And the summer, like 50 something minutes in this video, it's a video of him pulling, and he's playing right tackle at the time. And Coach Doyle blames it on the guard. They're running Gowner. Coach Doyle's playing tackle. The guard doesn't touch the end. Then the end runs right through Coach Doyle's shoulder and makes tackle at 4 yards in the backfield. And so obviously we clipped that. And so we're using that as some leverage, right? And so we kind of put together like a little slideshow. And then Coach Doyle goes to the bathroom. We pull the presentation up with how not to pull on GAT. And so we had a little bit of a basically I wouldn't even call it talent. I don't know what you call it. A little grading session with Coach Doyle on his performance playing right tackle. I knew it just had a lot of good laughs and stuff like that. It was just in the offensive line room, but yeah, it should have been shared with the whole team, I feel like.
What grade did Coach give himself?
I can't use the exact words, probably on the stream right here, but it was a minus. It was a negative. It's D for dog poop. That was after him. That was after him complaining that the guard completely screwed him. But I mean, hey, you don't pass up color. If he's in there, you block him.
That's great. Then we have a question from Mr. Grazier. Mr. Grazier, I appreciate your support, sir. He actually stole my next question, which is going to be: are there any thoughts on playing Central Arkansas this upcoming season?
Okay. I'm excited. You know what I mean? It's just like I said. You keep using the word opportunity, but that's really all football is. It's just it's taking opportunities that are given to you, and I think it's super cool experience that I can say I can check off my my college board of I got to accomplish this and went and did this. And obviously it's no secret that our schedule kind of is working against us this year with 7-4 away to home ratio. So I mean, you can be pissed about it, but hey, we're getting to travel a whole lot. There's more time to hang with the guys and have some fun through it like that. But I think it shows an opportunity for Division II football for us to prove ourselves a little bit too against a team that's, I mean, maybe they're not winning any conferences every year, but they're a good, solid team that's middle of the pack to upper pack consistently throughout in their conference. So just getting that experience and that opportunity to go, I mean, prove that we can do it.
Yeah. No, it's definitely something to look forward to. Obviously you don't want to inflate it and make it like, you know, make it too big of a deal, you know, because you got to just treat it like another game. But yeah, it's something you kind of get excited for. You know, they're a good football team, and they're going to have some dudes that we probably haven't seen before. Like, that's the reality of Division I football. I know it's like their home opener, I think, and it's at night. Like, hopefully the stadium's rocking, and it'll be a good experience. A good experience for the guys.
Yeah, kind of just packing up off what the guys said. It's gonna be a cool experience for sure. Obviously checking off playing against the D1 school, like that's just awesome. And part of it's just a great opportunity, you know, to go out there and prove ourselves that, you know, we're a legit team. And also I think it's pretty cool is their field, you know, that purple and gray field. I think that's going to be pretty sweet. So
yeah.
And now I know Gabe mentioned the 4-7 split. Now, you got to be road dogs this upcoming year. But I look at a game like Fort Hayes last year where I was like, all right, we just got to do that 7 times. I know it's tough playing on the road in MIAA, but like mentally, you all have probably seen all the environments at this point, what they can throw at you. Mentally now, kind of knowing the schedule, like how are you kind of already kind of contemplating, okay, we've got to go to 7 hostile environments this year, like what is that process been like of, okay, we got to go in there, got to handle our business, and we've got to win those, if we want to achieve the goals that we hope to.
Yeah, your mentality has to change a little bit. Doral talks to us all the time about, having a road dog mentality. Well, we're going to have that mentality basically the whole freaking year, with only 4 home games. I don't think we have our first home game till the end of September. I'm not 100% sure, but at the end of the day, it's just football. I mean, the environment can be whatever you want it to be. It can be, packed and they're screaming at you. It could be, dead and quiet and you got to bring your own energy. But it's just football, and, I'm just grateful to have the chance to go and play these games. So I'm looking forward to it, and just going in, like I said, you just got to have that road dog mentality, and you got to be ready to get down and dirty.
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty cool. Like, I haven't been to Pitt State or Central Missouri because the 2 years I've been here, we've played them at home both years, which those are the two, up there with like Northwest Fort Hays are like constantly at the top, especially with the best environments. So it is definitely going to be a challenge. Playing on the road is very difficult. It is a lot different than playing at home. But there are those road games that we kind of get off the bus and like I have a good feeling about it. Like just because I know we're prepared and like everybody's in the right frame of mind. And then there's been the road games where we get off the bus and like it's just not the same feel. Like unfortunately, that's how it goes. And we got to make sure we're fully prepared. Obviously every game, but like road games especially, it just takes a different mentality to go win those games. You can't just show up at these places and win like you can at home. You have to come with a complete different energy to go beat somebody on the road. So that's going to be really important to our success this year.
I think one thing that is, I think, playing in our hand this year is I think we have a lot of maturity on the team, even though we have, as far as grade-wise, maybe age-wise, we're not the oldest team in the world. I think from a level of maturity that the guys are possessing, I think is higher than years past, in all honesty. So just having enough maturity, I think that's a big part on the road because you're half the time you're by yourself. That's what you're putting in your body. It's what you're doing in your off time on the road that can end up making the difference, success on the field. But I do have a high level of maturity and give a dang factor with a lot of the guys that are rolling in and out right now that are going to have to make a contribution on Saturday. So I'm excited to see how that is going to translate to our away game performances.
Yeah, to Reese's point, you all's first home game is September 26th, which is also homecoming. So that's going to be new.
What the heck are we doing?
Oh man, my goodness, that's halfway through the season. I feel like.
You guys go at Texas Wesleyan, at Central Arkansas, at Washburn. You get Northwest at home for the home opener and homecoming. Then you're on the road at Central Missouri. You're back home for Fort Hays. Then you've got 2 straight on the road against Emporia and Pitt. You get Kearney at home. You go to Southern. Then at least you all get the home final game of the season is at home against Missouri Western. There's something,
If we were
our
going to
first
play
game of the year is
7
homecoming
away games and have our last game be on the road, that was going to be a big issue. As a senior, you want more than 4 home games. I know. Our athletic, our what do I call them? Like our admin, they're unbelievable. I love them. They're the best.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's nothing they can do about it. It's just how the cookie crumbles. But that sucks.
It's unfortunate for sure.
Yeah.
We have another question from Mrs. Grazier. She asks, what is one thing you want to take away from your senior seasons?
Yeah, kind of just like what I said earlier. It's like I want it to be like my most memorable year of football. Obviously, I want to win conference again. I want to do all the great things, but just when I look back at it when I'm older, I just want to remember, my senior season of football was the best time of my life. It was some of the most fun football I've ever played, and that's the main thing I want to take away is that it was a great time with some of my best friends.
Yeah. I just don't want to regret anything for sure. I kind of brought it up earlier, but like going through the season last year and I get done and I feel like, if this was it, I would have been really mad at myself. So just cherishing little moments, not regretting anything, just trying to have fun, make the most of it.
Yeah, just enjoying it is all the times you put so much pressure on yourself and have put so much like such big expectations for yourself, where you lose sight of like what's actually in front of you. That doesn't come without chasing those like aspirations, but just you don't remember that kind of stuff down the line. You just remember the friendships that you made along the way, and like we talk about weddings and funerals all the time. Like these guys, you're with them more than you are anyone else in your family, so they're your new family. And just that leaving that aspect of football is going to be honestly the hardest part, or one of the hardest parts. So just taking that all in and just keeping those relationships developed the rest of your life, and then the football stuff takes care of itself once you get that part figured out.
Well, before I let you all go, I did have two questions. Number one, I wanted to congratulate Gabe. I know you earned all conference last year, which a lot of us felt like you should have been your second straight year on there. But regardless of that fact, I did want to first congratulate you and ask you, what does that mean to you to earn all conference?
No, I appreciate it. I've never been really like an accolades guy, if I'm being honest with you. I just like to go out there and do the best I can do, and in the situation that I'm given. But it's very rewarding to know that like the hard work that you put in, because the rest of the guys in this panel can say too, football's not easy, and playing college football is not easy, and everything that goes along with it, whether it's school or personal life or anything. It's one of the hardest things you'll probably do in your adulting life. That's obviously not when you can have a family and kids and stuff like that. But as far as right now, this is the hardest thing we've probably done to date. And so it's nice just to know that you're not working in vain. Like Jett having his all conference season and stuff like that, just knowing that with the work he's put in hasn't been in vain. And Reese is going to have all American honors this year. I can feel that right now. Like stuff like that. It's not the work he's putting in now is not for vain, and it's going to pay off. And it's good every once in a while to know that you're working towards a goal and you're working towards something that is achievable. And this last year kind of showed it to me that it truly is achievable.
And I would be remiss if I did not ask Jett, about his beloved Kansas City Chiefs. Now I know he didn't go the way he wanted last year, the injury and whatnot. Now, my first question to you with the offseason moves, you all signed Kenneth Walker, bringing back Kelsey here. Do you feel like the supporting cast is in a spot that will allow you all to go back to competing for another Lombardi?
If Mahomes is fully healthy, I feel like you can't rule him out. I think we're to the point now where that's the truth. But unfortunately, our best receiver seems to be getting in trouble all the time. So he's kind of a wild card, If he plays and he doesn't get in trouble, I think, Mahomes is healthy. Sky's the limit. Mahomes isn't healthy and he's getting in trouble. They're going to go at 4-13, honestly. So Big tip and scale there. Obviously, Kenneth Walker's great. I think last year they did a great job rekindling the O-line. But yeah, we'll have to see about Mahomes. He's the X factor. So, and hopefully, Rashee Rice cleans up his act a little bit. Hopefully, he'll leave it there.
Well, I mean, I will say though, they do a good job of drafting impact guys. So I feel like there could be some additions there. You all hit on the draft again. I think there's some hope there. But okay, yeah. I was just curious. Now I'm like, okay, they signed back Kelsey. They signed Kenneth Walker. I saw Mahomes is on schedule. Is throwing. Like, I want to know how is he feeling because I know it was tough for you all last year. I know a lot of other NFL fans were probably happy about that, but okay.
I mean, you get blessed for so many years, and then you have one bad year. I'm not gonna cry about it. So,
fair enough. Okay. And then my final question for Jett is now, on the after the spring game, can I get you to sign my Jett Huff jersey, sir?
absolutely. And you were the first person to buy that too. I don't even think my parents have bought it yet. And I sent them the link too. So, and I know they've seen it before. So, no.
That is
absolutely, and I do really appreciate it, and it looks awesome.
No problem. That is that is wow. Okay, that's tough. But yeah, no, I mean, I do like it. The ones we had before, they were the old ones. They were the ones that Gabe first played in, and I was like, okay, that's cool, and I'm glad we have them. But now we got the new ones. I'm like, okay, see, this year looks extremely clean, and I had been saying since we wore those back in 2022 for the first time. It's like if you make that into some kind of Bible merch, I'm telling you, it would be great. And so I'm glad that that's the case. So, okay, I'll be sure to bring that, and
I'll look for you.
Can sign that for me. Okay, sweet. Very good. Well, gentlemen, I appreciate you coming on this Thursday evening. I appreciate you all being flexible because it's spring in Oklahoma, so you never know about the weather. Yeah. So I appreciate you all taking time to come on and talk to me. I'm wishing you the best of luck the rest of the spring, and I look forward to watching you all and talking to you all after the Saturday, April 18th spring game against Southern Nazarene, 6 p.m. kickoff. Look forward to being there. Hopefully the weather holds up for us like it did last year because it was a great time and a great environment, and I think everybody enjoyed it. So I appreciate you all. I appreciate those that came by and watched the stream, left some comments, asked some questions. But I said this for all MIAA quarterback Jett Huff, center Gabe Grazier, linebacker Reese Roller. I'm Jonathan Goodo, a.k.a. JG Smooth. We will talk to you all later.